Walking single file, you are brought before the Elven Queen, her throne sitting high on a marble dais. Around the room, you see the Elven court, the lords and ladies, decked out in their finest garb.
Is there an elven woman there with lots of jewelry?
Yes.
I want to pick her pockets.
You want a what?
I want to steal her jewelry.
Okay. Roll me a sleight of hand.
Natural 20. I take a big step away from him.
Fine. Somehow, with no one noticing, you take the necklaces right off from around her neck.
I would like to seduce the queen.
No.
Come on. I just want to seduce the queen.
Fine, roll me a persuasion.
19 for a total of 30.
Ugh. You know what? The queen is so enamored by your hairy visage that she instantly makes you her consort.
I would like to rage.
You can't rage. You're a cleric.
Then I want to reroll my character.
Yeah!
Has this ever happened to you? Do you find yourself surrounded by players who make decisions that make no sense? Decisions that make you want to pull your hair out? You're not alone. Every day, GMs all around the world are met with the one thing they can't control: their players. Now, however, there's hope. Here at Artcana Check, we have spent years working on the cure for overly imaginative players. And now we want to share our secrets with you. Hello and welcome back to Artcana Check, and welcome to episode number 3 of GM 101, where in this week's video we're going to be taking a look at one of the things that is the hardest for GMs to deal with: their players. Now, specifically, we are looking at the types of players who really get into their role-playing. In some cases, their role-playing can kind of derail the game that you're playing in, or the ideas that you have, the scene that you're trying to set. So this can be anything from just really wanting to do ridiculous things, such as seducing the queen just out of the blue. Or, just willy-nilly deciding, hey, I'm just going to walk into this bandits camp and just start killing everybody. Sometimes their role-playing shenanigans can just be amongst themselves, just in conversations going back and forth. And it sometimes just makes your story lead to nowhere. So how do you as a GM deal with this? How do you control your players? Most specifically saying you can't and you shouldn't. It's not your role as the GM to tell your players how to play the game. They're going to play the game however they feel like playing it. And it's your job as the GM to help them make their story even better, more fulfilling, and yes, to advance the story that you're trying to tell, but advance it in a way that doesn't make people feel left out. So one easy way of doing this is when they are going to be making these decisions, use their choices to add to your story. If, say, the bard wants to seduce the queen and is successful in his role, then okay, maybe it's not a full-on seduction, oh, I'm going to make you my consort sort of a thing, but maybe he says something and it catches the queen's attention. Maybe she gives him a sly smile, and that could be furthered later. Maybe if it's the barbarian rushing into the bandit camp to start killing everybody, well, that's going to make your other players have to make quick decisions. Are they just going to let the barbarian go in there and probably get killed? Or are they going to go in there, fight, maybe run away, maybe kill everybody, or maybe find a different solution? All of these things that your players are making decisions on, you can take those and just help to tell your story. Now, the key to this is that you've got to think on your feet. You got to be fast. And this is something I'm going to be coming back to in a future video, but you've got to be able to tell that story and change that story on the fly. Now, let's say your players want to do this thing and it's successful or it's unsuccessful. There are consequences to your players' actions. And that's another thing that you can add into it. You want to seduce the queen? Okay, she doesn't like what you have to say. What happens next? There's consequences to this. Maybe the bard gets locked up. And now, in order to get out of this elven court, the party's got to rescue their friend. Or convince the queen into, letting him go, that he was just joking. It's just the way he is. However the case may be. But the players need to understand that when they do make some of these silly decisions, that there's going to be consequences one way or another. That the story is going to continue on with them doing that. The one thing, however, though, that you don't want to do as the GM is just let there's two things, honestly. First, don't let your players sit there and just completely go on this sideways tangent that does nothing. I've had players who go a little crazy and they spend hours. They spend the entire session sometimes just talking really weird stuff or doing really ridiculous stuff that is not going to help the story whatsoever. It's not moving it forward. It's not even moving it sideways. It's just kind of going around in a little circle. So you want to stay away from that. And that's your job as the GM. Push that story forward in a way where what they're doing is part of that story. For one example, I had a party, and these were teenagers playing, and they were meant to be finding a bandit camp. And they found some bandits alongside a river in the trees, and they dispatched them, and they knew they were on the right trail, but instead of continuing on and searching and finding evidence of where they might be going, they decided to spend the next hour and a half playing a game of throw the body into the tree. And it was one of those things where I had to figure out a way to get them to move on. So there was one player not doing that, and I asked what he was doing, and he was searching the area, and he found some tracks. And he managed to bring the rest of his party around to following those tracks, which led them to the large bandit encampment, which they ended up doing the smart thing and not attacking it immediately, but going and reporting it, getting reinforcements. So we were able to have this big epic battle in the next session where they weren't all just going to die. So that's kind of the key to dealing with the players. And each group is going to be different. The way every GM handles it is going to be different. You just have to find that happy medium between your storytelling, the adventure that you're trying to have this party go on, and the back and forth and role-playing and silliness that your players are going to exhibit. Remember, Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, whatever the game might be, it's a game. It's meant to be fun. So let your players have fun, but also let them feel engaged and part of this story. And we're going to talk about that specifically in a future episode of GM 101. So stick around for that. If you like this video, if you liked what I had to say, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, share this video so it can get out to more people. If you want to see more silly skits at the beginning of these, leave a comment, let me know. If you think I should drop those, also let me know. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.